The 1,000-pound sister, Amy, and her husband, Brian Lovehorn, finally made it to the wedding stage with their infant. For a very long time, Amy and Brian Lovehorn have been keeping the baby hidden. Everyone can't wait to see the baby. However, Amy is unable to conceive because everyone is dubious about the baby's age. Actually, little is known about what is happening within their family. A gloomy, wet morning in Dixon, Kentucky marked the beginning of the episode. Amy and Tammy Slayton's worried looks were captured on camera as they waited in a quiet hospital lobby. Both sisters were slated for significant weight loss procedures on the same day for the first time in their lives. "Why must today seem like the end of the world?" Tammy muttered as she wiped the fog from her spectacles. "It's only surgery." Amy, clutching her little boy Gage, laughed uneasily. 1,000 pounds, sisters. Maybe the world is ending for our fat cells, girl. Chris, Amanda, and Michael sat like royal court guards in the waiting area, anticipating drama. Amy was the first person the nurses phoned. Amy turned to blow a kiss to Gage as she moved slowly into the surgery doors. "Mommy is doing this for you, baby," she said in a whisper, her heart beat on the surgical table. She was moved by memories of her early years, including children making fun of her weight, her desire to live a healthy lifestyle, and her pledge to take Gage to a theme park one day. The surgeon touched her arm. "Take a deep breath, Amy. You will awaken with greater strength." Her eyes closed, and the camera went black. In the direction of the surgical hallway, Tammy rolled her wheelchair. She appeared resolute rather than scared. "Let's finish this up. Being large isn't killing me," but her respiration accelerated as she got closer to the door. She took hold of her nurse's hand. "Assure me that I will awaken." "You'll wake up to a whole new life," the nurse said with a smile. Doctors had a hard time positioning her safely in the surgery room. The alarm sounded. Dramatic music was added to the show. The surgeon called for additional help. Everybody's expression darkened. Tammy's oxygen saturation dropped. Her breathing was labored. The screen flickered. Amy opened her eyes in recovery after several hours. Though feeble and pallid, she was still alive. With tears streaming down his face, Michael gave her a hug. "You succeeded, sweetie," Chris shouted, half the size, twice the sass, as he bounded into the room carrying balloons. Everyone in the room chuckled. However, Tammy's bed remained unoccupied. A tired doctor came in. Everybody froze. "Tammy is stable, but we need to talk about something." The family let out a gasp. Cameras focused on shocked expressions. As the show came to an end, the following text appeared on the screen. "What will happen to Tammy in the next episode? 1,000 pounds, sisters." A sneak peek showed Tammy sobbing while wearing an oxygen mask and saying, "I'm afraid. Keep me alive." Cut to black. But everyone is awake even though the sun hasn't yet risen. Amy is getting ready to enter a courtroom for a trial that could jeopardize her custody of her sons following a recent public emotional collapse, while Tammy is getting ready for her potentially fatal bariatric surgery. Amanda continues to check her phone as Chris pacing uneasily and rubbing his hands. "Today, we are engaged in 2 battles," Amanda murmurs. Silently, an oxygen tube gently blows air into Tammy's nostrils as she is driven to the hospital in Louisville. She's finally qualified because she's shed just enough pounds. She is met by Dr. Smith outside the surgical ward. He generally smiles, but there's concern in his eyes today. "Your lungs and throat are really weak, Tammy. This is a dangerous surgery. However, it's your final opportunity." Tammy gives a nod. No sarcasm, no jokes. She had only hope and terror battling in her eyes. Bright lights envelop her like condemnation inside the surgical room. She mumbles, "I just want to live for myself and for Caleb," while they sedate her. The devices emit a beep. There is silence. Amy is accompanied by a lawyer as she stands before a judge at the courthouse. She was captured driving carelessly during a panic attack and is now accused of putting her kids in risk. Even though she tested positive for drugs, the story is twisted by paparazzi as drug abuse. "Mrs. Halterman, why should your children remain in your custody?" the judge asks carefully. Amy trembles and starts crying. "Because I never gave up on them and I won't let my pain take them away," she responds candidly. "I'm receiving assistance. I should be given the opportunity to be the mother they require." The courtroom becomes silent as well. The judge pauses. "Return to Tammy." Her pulse slows. Nurses hurry. While operating close to tissue that is seriously injured, Dr. Smith requests additional suction. Her oxygen levels plummet. 1,000 pounds, sisters. The editing creates a terrifying connection as the camera moves between the surgery area and the courtroom. Tammy battles for her own future, while Amy fights for the future of her children. The monitor finally stabilizes after 3 hours. The surgical team exhales. Weary, Dr. Smith takes off his gloves. We succeeded. However, her recuperation will be harsh. Still unconscious, Tammy is taken into the intensive care unit. The judge reappears in court with papers. You will retain custody, Mrs. Slayton, provided that you participate in required therapy and submit to arbitrary assessments. Amy breaks down in tears and falls into Amanda's embrace. Her victory wasn't flawless. She didn't lose, though. Amy's phone rings as she exits the courthouse. Chris responds, trembling. Tammy made it? She made it out alive. Amy exhales what seems like a lifetime of anxiety. Tell her, I will also survive. The sisters' voices overlap as the story comes to an end, showing two women engaged in distinct conflicts but never battling alone. But as Tammy sat outdoors on the porch, the sun was gradually lowering over Dixon, Kentucky, turning the sky a gentle orange. Her heart was thumping in her chest. The terror she experienced today was far worse than the multitude of worries she had previously encountered, including physicians, hospitals, surgeries, and even the difficulty of breathing, because Tammy Slayton was finally going to share with her family something she had kept a secret her entire life, something Tammy never thought to tell. Tammy endured years of feeling condemned for who she was on the inside as much as for her weight. She had at last discovered how to love herself in the peaceful evenings at the rehabilitation center. She came to the realization that she was attracted to both men and women, making her bisexual. It had always been about protecting her heart, not about hiding to trick her family. One of the few persons who had known was her late husband, Caleb. He advised her not to be afraid to be yourself while holding her hands before he passed away. 1,000 pounds, sisters. Tammy, you deserve to be loved and to be loved fearlessly. Make me a promise that you will no longer hide. Like a music she couldn't stop listening to, those words kept playing in her head. Amy had asked everyone over that night. Amanda was fighting with Misty over who makes the best potato salad, Chris was busy grilling outdoors, and the children were running around. Tammy observed them teasing and laughing at one another. After she told them, would their perception of her remain unchanged? She anxiously cleared her throat. Dudes, please take a seat for a while. I want to discuss something significant. Everyone stopped. They listened when Tammy looked serious. At first, her voice was tremulous. I've recently discovered a lot about myself. I've experienced loss, therapy, and surgery, and all of that has helped me realize something. Amanda folded her arms. All right, spit it out before the tension kills me. Tammy took a deep breath. I identify as bisexual. There was silence in the room. 1,000 pounds sisters. The children stopped running as well. Chris gave 2 blinks. So, you also enjoy women? With tears welling up in her eyes, Tammy nodded. The response of the family. Amy just stared at her for a bit. Tammy was terrified. However, Amy approached her, gave her a hug, and whispered in her ear, I don't care who you love. All that matters to me is that you love yourself. Amanda dabbed at one of her tears. I was waiting for you to say this, girl. Bisexuals make up half of the folks I know. Greetings from the club. Chris gave a shrug. I don't mind as long as they treat you well and don't steal my food. Everyone started laughing. In the heat, the tension dissipated like ice. A smile replaced Tammy's tears. She felt completely comfortable being herself for the first time in her life. Amy exclaimed, "This is history!" as she took a lighthearted photo of Tammy. At last, Tammy emerged, and we didn't even need to drag her out. Tammy chuckled. Today, I am proud of myself. Tammy gazed up at the sky while the family resumed eating and conversing. At last, she felt liberated, like if she could breathe fresh air. Self-acceptance, something surgery could never offer her, had come from being honest. But nervous talk filled the Lexington Bariatric Rehabilitation Center's waiting area. Already, cameras were rolling, catching every worried expression and every little murmur. Selecting a personal nurse for Tammy was something the sisters had never done on the show before. Tammy's doctor insisted that she require a full-time nurse to assist her with managing her food, mobility therapy, and breathing problems at home following her most recent health emergency. However, Tammy wasn't overjoyed. "A nurse? In my home? Will they also be in charge of me?" Squinting at the clipboard and crossing her arms, Tammy complained. Amy rolled her eyes dramatically while carrying baby Glenn on her hip. 1,000-pound sisters. "We're not going to hire a boss, Tammy. We are employing someone to prevent your death." Significant difference. With the exception of the producers, who were already salivating at the soundbite, everyone laughed as Tammy stuck out her tongue. The prospects show up. 5 prospective nurses waited for their interviews in metal chairs. Each was radically different. Nurse Donna is stern, severe, and ruler-shaped. Though polite and soft-spoken, Nurse Mia seems afraid of her own shadow. Tall, strong, and oddly eager to meet Tammy was Nurse Rodney. An elderly, grandmotherly nurse named Elaine is seen holding a tin of baked cookies. Young, sardonic, and believed to have been a comic once, Nurse Quinn. "I'm afraid that Donna will force Tammy into a lettuce wrap," Amy said in a whisper to the camera. Like a drill sergeant, she entered. "You'll adhere to a rigid plan. No snacks after the appointed hours. No justifications." Tammy's gaze expanded. "Are you my parole officer or my nurse?" Donna didn't flinch. "It doesn't matter if you want to live." Everybody shuddered, even the infant. Then Nurse Mia Amy had to lean in to hear her since she was so quiet. "I simply want to assist." Tammy gave her a bashful smile. "I like her awe. She won't scream." "She won't yell, but she also won't stop Tammy from eating pizza at midnight," Amy said to the camera. Rodney, the nurse. He entered in the manner of a linebacker. "I want you to get up and start walking." Slowly, Tammy blinked. "I'm not going to the NFL, sir." Tammy's water bottle was raised by Rodney. "You're going to carry this like a dumbbell." "Amy, he's going to make me sweat," yelled Tammy. Perspiration. She brought cookies. At once, Tammy reached for them. "You made it." Elaine hastily withdrew the cookies. "Sugar-free, darling. I'm not enabling. I'm concerned." Tammy gazed at her with renewed admiration. "You're a cunning cookie, Grandma." Lastly, Nurse Quinn. "I won't work harder than you do if you don't want to lose weight," he stated as he sat down and crossed his legs. "In either case, I get paid." Tammy started giggling. "You are sincere. I already like you." Quinn gave a wink. "But each time you try to sneak snacks, I'll roast you." Amy grinned broadly. Oh, that's what she needs. They sat in a circle at the end of the day. After taking the card, Tammy declared, "This is the nurse who will be keeping me alive." Quinn gave a fist pump. "Because if I gotta suffer, at least I'll laugh doing it," Tammy continued. Everyone applauded. 1,000-pound sisters, Glenn drooled on her shoulder as Amy and he performed a little dance. As Tammy grinned and said, "I hope you're all ready," the camera panned in on her. "Come on, comedy and exercise. Go away." Nurse Quinn versus Tammy. Battle of the Midnight Snacks is the teaser for the upcoming episode. Greetings and welcome to my channel, dear viewers. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Mina. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video.